Well, folks, with the Boogaloo coming up and the smallest, tiniest glimmer of a possibility that we may be able to remake this world into something a little better and, learn from our mistakes. I want to show you society's number one mistake, explain to you exactly how it works, and possibly, show why we should even abolish it if the Boogaloo doesn't come. I'm making this video for me, for my father, for many of the friends around me, for my sons, for our brothers, our uncles, all of those dead, the many incarcerated, and all of those who suffer under the weight of slavery that this has brought into our nation. This is my video about child support, and I want to cover almost everything as much as possible. I have a lot of information, so let's get started. So, child support. Let's start with the very beginning, how it is funded. It's funded through Title 4D of Social Security. This is a screenshot of Social Security. I can't read a word on it because I'll be honest with you, the word stretched the whole way across the screen because the government doesn't know how to build a website properly. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you, that this is actually child support and establishment of paternity. All of child support throughout the entire country is funded through Title 4D funding. And at current, the amount of money that we spend on child support every year, is about $5 billion. That's without the incarceration. All right. So that's just for the offices and enforcement officers, that come along with this and the paternity tests and things of this nature. All right. So $5.877 billion are the total administrative expenditures of the entire country. All right. I wanted to stand here and show this to you. I thought it was important. That we understand how much money is spent, and where the money actually goes to. All right. Total caseload, it serves 13,923,541 individuals. Or these are actual cases. So some of these might have 2 kids on them. Some might have 1 kid. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually got this. This is off of an NCSL website, something along this, or the Child Support Enforcement, CSE website. All right. So the amount of current support due is $33,414,378,201. All right. Let's see how they're doing with the arrears. It's $118,058,611,558. Sorry, man, a lot of numbers on this. All right. So our biggest spenders for the amount of money spent on enforcement is California, followed by Texas. California is almost $1 trillion. Texas is at $434 billion. And Pennsylvania and Ohio round them out at $261 billion for PA, and Ohio spends $260 billion a year on child support enforcement. All right, so the feds have laws on this. Your local jurisdictions have laws on this. Each jurisdiction, the laws are a little different, but it's pretty much all the same. They have a guideline of how much money, based on how much money you make, based on how much it costs to live inside of your area. It's a big, convoluted algorithm about how it's supposed to work. And then they come up with a number off of that. I personally think it should go by percentage. And that way, if you, end up having a job where you make less, they just take out a less amount of money. Because, that's how life works. And if you're incarcerated and you make zero money, they get $0. That should be, the basics of how this operates. But, it's not even like taxes. These individuals actually stand here and give you a number to hit every week, which is remotely cool if you make more money. But the bitch is that if your baby's mom finds out you make more money, your ex-wife, whoever she might be, she can always take you back and try to redo the support order. All right. So The feds actually put in an act, the Deadbeat Parents Punishment Act of 1998. This act created new categories of federal felonies for the most egregious child support violators. That's anybody who owes more than $5,000. Okay, so, all right, now, here's the thing. You would remotely think, well, if I get hit with a child support case, I'll just leave. Well, see, you'd be wrong about that, right? The biggest problem for a person with a child support arrearage greater than 25 hours who is living overseas, the status of their passport, at some point their passport will expire. A person living in a foreign country is allowed to have a valid passport. This person will not be able to renew their passport until child support matter has been resolved, as it is not possible for the United States citizen to live in a foreign country without a valid passport. A person whose passport has been expired will be subject to deportation. Oh yeah, in all cases where the child support arrearage is $2,500 or greater, the United States Department of State will be notified, and the person owing child support will be unable to obtain their new passport or renew their passport or get one. You know what I'm saying? And if the amount exceeds $10,000, the violation is a federal criminal felony, and convicted offenders faces fines and up to 2 years in prison. Which that's gonna help you pay your fucking money. You know what I mean? Like, again, the government has two tricks. One is to take your money and give it to somebody else, and the other one is just put a gun in your face. Like, if you have a hammer, every problem kind of has to look like a nail. All right, so also on top of that, there are actually international extradition treaties and treaties of just for child support. All right. This is from The Hague. All right. Desiring to improve cooperation among states for the international recovery of child support and other forms of family maintenance. Aware of the need for procedures which produce results and are accessible, prompt effort, cost effective, responsive, and fair. Wishing to build upon the best features of existing Hague conventions and other international instruments. In particular, the United Nations Convention for the Recovery Abroad of Maintenance of June 20th, 1956, seeking to take advances in technology, create a flexible system which continue to evolve as needs change, and further advances in technology create new opportunities. Recalling that in Articles 3 and 27 United Nations Convention, Right to the Child of November 20th, 1988, in all action concerning the children, the best interest of the child should be the primary consideration. Every child has a right to a standard of living adequate with the child's physical, mental, and spiritual, moral, and social development. The parents or others responsible for the child have the primary responsibility to secure with their abilities and financial capacities the condition of living necessary for child development. State parties should take appropriate measures, including the conclusion of international agreements to secure the recovery for maintenance of child from the parents and other responsible persons, in particular with such persons live in a state different from that from the child. All right, so you would say, well, what fuckstick country would sign on to something like this? Well, most of them. United States, United Kingdom, Ukraine, Turkey, Sweden, Spain, Slovenia, Slovakia, Romania, Republic of Northern Macedonia, Portugal, Poland, Norway, Nicaragua, New Zealand, Netherlands, Montenegro, Malta, Luxembourg, Lithuania, Latvia, Kazakhstan. Well, we are not done yet, son, right? Austria, Belarus, Belgium, Bosnia, Brazil, Bulgaria, Burkina Faso, Canada, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Estonia, European Union, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Guyana, Honduras, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, and the list goes on. All right, so this is from the NCSL. So, I guess in conclusion, you can't run. Don't try to run. Just telling you what the situation is. I'm not giving you a solution, because there isn't really a fucking solution short of do the monk treatment in China. Set yourself on fire, make an example out of shit. Really raise a stink. If you're willing to kick up dust, you really give a fuck enough. People will listen. This is right. All right. There are two primary routes non-custodial parents which people may intersect with the criminal justice system. On one path, the non-custodial parent is not compliant in a child support obligation, and non-compliance may lead to incarceration, short-term primary and local jails as a result of either a civil contempt or criminal non-support action taken by the state. The numbers for this are not recorded because they're civil, so therefore, if they're not convicting anybody of criminal things, they don't have to be reported to the FBI. The estimate numbers are somewhere around 72,000 people. all right, a year go into local jails. We don't really know, or a day or a month. We're not fucking sure. At any point, 72,000 people are in jail. That's where we're at. You know, I mean, that's the best number I've ever heard as far as things are concerned. 72,000. Somewhere, it's a number for something. Okay, in other ways, non-custodial opponents who are incarcerated for criminal offense and have current delinquent child support obligation, the incarceration is not related to child support, and they may be incarcerated for longer periods of time in state and federal prison. While child support isn't the reason for incarceration for these parents, ongoing child support obligations has repercussions for their compliance, confinement, release, and reentry. As of December 31st, there were approximately 1.49 million people in federal and state prison. More than 50% of those inmates have one or more child under the age of 18. An estimated 2.7 million children with a parent incarcerated. In addition, the 2003 study estimated that 1/4 of inmates in a prison had a child support case. Based on current prison populations, this suggests that approximately 400,000 inmates have a child support case. Yeah, again, you know what I'm saying? They don't keep good numbers for this stuff. All right, so... All right, the distinction between non-custodial parents who are incarcerated to fail child support and those who are incarcerated for separate criminal offenses who also have child support cases is an important one. The available approaches for improving child support compliance and encouraging ongoing consistent child support payments within these possibilities are very difficult, particularly considering the reasons for and potential length of the incarceration. Below is a further discussion about this distinction as well as the varying policy options to address the needs of both populations. Trying to sit here. I know there was a reason I ground. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. The Bureau of Justice stated that more than 730,000 individuals were incarcerated in local jails in 2013. What's unknown is how many of those inmates were incarcerated due to child support noncompliance. A 2009 study in South Carolina found that 13.2% of county jail inmates were behind bars for civil contempt related to a non-payment of child support. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that's the reason I grabbed that actual screenshot, to be honest with you. I'm not real sure. All right. So, all right. I went through like a whole bunch of websites and grabbed a bunch of screenshots, and like there's probably about 20 of them, something like that. So like it's kind of tough to keep them all straight. Like I don't want to go through and name all of them. You know what I mean? Like, because I already did name them, but like in the image thing, when you put it just says image 12 or 18 or whatever it is. All right. So let's read this. This is beautiful. Often child support orders continue unmodified during a prisoner's incarceration. This can lead to large outstanding sums of money to release at the time of release. One of the few studies in this area, the median of total for child support debt across state and local prisons was estimated about $10,000, such that half of the population owed more than $10,000 and half owed less. Quantitative research and anecdotal evidence suggests this debt and related correctional debt from fines and fees can create significant barriers to successful reentry. Because returning prisoners, this is from a Connecticut study, because returning prisoners often have to pay large portions of their salary to government agencies or the mother of their dependent children, it's been suggested that incentive to work are reviewed. Legal debt may create a disincentive to find any work at all. In terms of recidivism, the incentive to find work in the formal labor market could increase recidivism by pushing former prisoners into the illicit economy. Alternately, having this debt could increase ties to family and children, possibly promoting desistance. I don't even know what that word is. Right? Despite the bleak economic outlook for returning prisoners with child support debt, an excellent theory that informs why it is a matter vis-a-vis key outcomes such as employment and recidivism to no large scale or national studies have examined how obligations associated with child support or other accruing debt influences these outcomes of the reintegration process. The current work addressed this empirical gap using longitudinal data from the multi-site series and whatever. I don't really care. All right. So, all right. Parents continue to accrue debt while incarcerated despite the availability of modification for several reasons. Under the current child support system, many incarcerated individuals do not receive the information they need to secure modification. These inmates who do obtain this information may not recognize the importance of filling out the paperwork because the problem feels distant while they are incarcerated. They may feel deterred by the complexity of the forms, the level of detail required to successfully complete the paperwork, and the number of procedural hurdles that must be overcome to secure modification. Those who start the process may have trouble completing every step because they do not have access to legal assistance on family members of those on Family Matters, I'm sorry. Of those who learn about the option after incarceration, many fear appearing in court, a mandatory step in the modification process, due to the potential for arrest upon appearing. Furthermore, modification cannot be backdated. Taken together, these hurdles effectively bar incarcerated non-custodial parents from accessing the benefits of modification. These findings suggest a link between unmodified child support orders and recidivism, while proving direct and proximate causation for recidivism is difficult, if not impossible, for any single factor. The accumulation of debt plainly adds to the challenges of reentry. Child support debt may not be the sole factor contributing to recidivism, but our findings suggest that for many people living prison, this debt is one factor, and for some it is a driving factor. In addition, the problems posed by child support debt accumulation are likely even greater than the data explored here suggest. You gotta love this, man. You gotta love this. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all known things. Like, I've been saying this for years now. Y'all have all heard me say the same exact shit, right? The high debt that results from such realistic child support poses serious problems for the custodial parent, the child, the state, and the incarcerated non-custodial parent. The one goal of the system is and should be to support the custodial parent and child. Today's approach fails to accomplish this goal. Instead, because currently and formerly incarcerated individuals retain unrealistic orders, very little money flows to the custodial parent and child, and the non-custodial parent continues to owe significant sum, which the state must then expend resources to collect, and the non-custodial parent is more likely to face reincarceration because of the pressure high debt places on individuals to join the underground economy, and because the state can punish non-payment with incarceration. I've told y'all this before. You bring a man with a gun and a badge into anything having to do with human beings, it's going to cause people to get more violent. It's that simple. All right. Let's see here. In fact, nearly 3/4 of non-custodial parents who owe child support have been incarcerated will go back to prison. 3/4. 75%. The average non-custodial parent owing child support will return to prison more than 4 times. Wow. 4 times. Like, yo, I'm trying to tell y'all, man, like, legit. And, like, yo, this is the biggest scourge facing our country, and people have no idea. They don't even want to discuss it. Legit. Right? The average non-custodial parent owing child support will return to prison more than 4 times, with child support obligation mounting during each period of incarceration. Right? If he cannot secure modification, the experience of attorney reflects this reality. Mr. Vital estimates that 85% of his clients have been involved in the prison system before their contempt hearings. Mr. Auger estimates that more than half of his clients have been previously in prison. Faced with high levels of debt, formerly incarcerated non-custodial parents feel pressure to engage in high-risk, high-reward activity that is often illegal. One Project Green client explained that many people with child support debt perceive 2 options: construction or selling drugs, the only ways to make over $20 an hour. Another Project Green client recalled feeling the pressure directly after being released. He worked more than 80 hours a week at 2 jobs, but took home less than $90 per week because the money was taken out of his wages to pay for his child support. His employment began to feel hopeless and pointless. Mr. Ray has seen his clients confront the same problem, explaining for his clients this level of child support debt makes it very hard to do the right thing because it pressures men to go into the underground economy. Yo, in fact, nearly 3/4 of parents who owe child support have been incarcerated will go back to prison. The average non-custodial parent owing support will return to prison more than 4 times. So I just wanted to blow that up, to emphasize that point, right? Owing child support is an arrestable offense, as explained above. Thus, presenting oneself before a magistrate carries both real and perceived risk. That risk is compounded by the fact that parents seeking modification do not have the right to counsel, and many current and formerly incarcerated individuals do not have a full understanding of the law and processes of child support. As a result, although the law is clear that incarceration is grounds for modification and that inmates are entitled to orders that reflect their actual income and assets, many individuals conclude that the risk of punishment for non-payment outweighs the possible benefits of modification. In addition, even if the formerly incarcerated individuals do come to court, the result may not be a modified order. As Mr. Pankey explained, the court result is a wild card. A formerly incarcerated individual's choice is not to come to court, may be the result of a rational weighing out of the cost of potential arrest versus the benefit of potential modification. Oh, it's such a beautiful system. Yo, we have such a gorgeous system. It's such a piece of garbage. You see what feminism has brought female voting? Yo, the 19th Amendment has given us this. Like, yo, I try to explain this to people, but they can't grasp it through their head. Maybe you can understand it if I put it in like regular white people terms for you. You know what I'm saying? But yo, look, I wanted to bring this video out here so like, we can understand exactly what the situation is with the current mentality that you can't even get a fucking stimulus check. Legit, if you owe back child support. Now, I had somebody yesterday tell me, I had somebody here last night tell me that they ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? But like, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Because like, yo, I never discount cucks. Legit, yo, and that Senator Grassley, whatever his name is a cuck. Like, yo, fuck him. Real shit. Meantime, y'all know the deal. This is Tom Pease with Pnoid News. If you enjoy my content, enjoy what I put out, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that, notification bell. Unhit it, hit it again. All right, because, yo, fuck YouTube. Yo, peace.